Before starting the framing, I used CAD software to model the house. I divided the shed into 2 rooms. Half serves as my home office, and the other half served as my workshop. Technically, it took less than a year to reach this.
Today, I'm going to show you how I built this backyard home office from scratch. This video will contain 5 main sections: the foundation, the framing, the sheathing, the roofing, and finally the siding. In this video, I will also share the learning material that I referenced, the kit file of the design, the time it took me to build this house, and finally the cost. Please stay tuned and join me to this exciting ride.
The foundation is probably the only step that this build I didn't personally handle. Concrete work is tricky. It involves a chemical reaction that requires precise planning and accurate timing at each step. Unlike other tasks where I can take it slow and correct mistake, concrete work allowed no room for error. You only get one chance. With no experience in concrete work, I decided to hire a professional. I was able to watch the worker handle the preparation, which include land leveling and compacting, installing the formwork, the lumber around the boundary, and placing the reinforcement. On the final day of pouring the concrete, the crew finished the pour and surface within 1 day. It was truly amazing. I'm glad I made the right decision not to take on this daunting task myself. I knew I would have made many mistakes and seriously endangered the project. Once the concrete is poured, I just need to water it regularly for a while to ensure it cures fully and reaches its maximum strength. Before starting the framing, I used CAD software to model the house, which gave me concrete ideas and a clear visualization of what the finished project would look like. Think about it, if you can model it in detail, including the size and position of each piece of lumber, you should be able to bring it to reality. To do it correctly, I asked myself, what will I use this shed for? I knew it would serve as both my home office and workshop, which helped me determine the layout, size, and other details such as the number of rooms and whether to include a loft space. For example, I divided the shed into 2 rooms with an interior wall. Half serves as my home office, and the other half served as my workshop for woodworking and metalworking. I also did my homework beforehand by taking a few online courses, reading several books to understand the principles of building a house, and watching countless YouTube videos. This gave me a solid understanding of how to get started and familiarize myself with the steps involved. I'll link the CAD file of this house, the learning materials including the courses, books, and YouTube videos in the description for free download. After doing my research and homework, I felt confident in answering questions like, what is the standard way to build a house or shed? What tools do I need? What kind of nail gun should I use? What size of nails? How do I fasten the wall to the ground? How do I connect the walls? What kind and size of lumber should I use? What does 16 on center mean? What is the standard way to frame a wall, window, door, and roof? What is the standard height of a house and a window? What are the standard width and height of a door? What is house wrap and do I need one? What are the bottom and top plates? And how many top plates should I use? I wrote down the answers, steps, and all the detail and put them into practice. Framing the roof was one of the most challenging steps in constructing my home office. From the design and planning to the final implementation, I spent a lot of time ensuring it was done correctly. I wanted more space inside the office, so I chose a gambrel roof design. The design underwent several iterations. The traditional way of securing the different pieces of the truss didn't suit me because of the wide span of the truss, so I had to redesign and reinforce the trusses. Putting up the trusses was certainly not a one-man job. My good friend Kirk was amazing, gathering a bunch of other friends to help. Together, we were able to put up 22 trusses onto the roof in 1 day. That day was glorious. It felt like together we could achieve anything.
turning, but my smile just brought no room for concern. Rain might be falling, storm clouds calling, but I'm dancing through it all. My joy's my return. Good vibes only, I'm feeling alright. Bad news, you can't hold me, not tonight. Troubles are lurking, shadows in the light, but I'm shining bright. It's a good.
Oh, did I forget to mention the skylight window? I thought it would be great to look up at the sky at night from the loft space in my home office. It took me a while to understand how to frame a skylight window, but I was able to pull it off. Carrying a sheet of plywood, placing onto the scaffolding, and then lifting it up on the roof was no joke. It required a lot of strength and my full attention. After putting each sheet of plywood in place, it felt like a good workout. But seeing my home office finally covered with a skin was incredibly rewarding.
Whispers in the night. Your touch makes my heart sway. Everything feels so wrong. Rain outside, love within, hearts collide. Where to begin? In this moment we found our place. Raindrops and heartbeats, our love's embrace. Blankets wrap our secret. Time slows to a crawl. With each second passing by, deeper in love we fall. World fades out to silence, just the sound of rain echoes softly in the dark, whispering your name. Rain outside, love within, hearts collide. Where to begin? In this moment we found our place. Raindrops and heartbeats, our love's embrace.
Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my cell, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. I sent 2 letters back in autumn, you must not have got them. There probably was a problem at the post office or something. Sometimes I scribble addresses too sloppy when I jot them. But anyways, F in it, what's been up, man, how's your daughter? My girlfriend's pregnant too, I'm about to be a father. If I have a
Climbing onto the roof while carrying the nail gun was very challenging. I had to be extra careful not to fall. However, standing on top of the roof with a clear view of the sky was such a joy, especially at sunset. The scene was magnificent.
pictures, man, I like the shit you did with rockets too, that shit was fact.
Finally, the main structure of the home office is complete. Now I just need to add the final siding and trim. Once the house is painted, it will look amazing.
旅行是我们的梦，夏日的旅程让我们忘记所有，阳光和海浪让爱情自由流动，在这美丽的时光，我们勇敢追逐，一起探索这世界，爱无限延续。
夜晚的星空最苍，我们坐在篝火旁，诉说着心底的秘密，笑声响彻夜空，天边的霞光渐起，新的一天来临，这个夏天的故事永远记在心中。
夏日的旅程让我们忘记所有，阳光和海浪让爱情自由流动，在这美 居住，一起探索这世界，爱无限延续。夜晚的星空璀璨，我们坐在篝火旁，诉说着心里的秘密，笑声响彻夜空。
Finally, this marks the end of this video. Let me give you a walkthrough of the project. The first phase of this project took me about 2 years. However, I only worked on it for about 4 months each year, so technically it took less than a year to reach this point. I'll link the cost so far in the description if you're interested. Looking back at the project, if you ask me what I could improve or do differently, there are a couple of them. First, the placement of the windows and door. Initially, I placed the door on the side of the house. Later, I changed my mind and had to reframe the door, which wasted quite a bit of time. The same reasoning applies to the windows. From the design phase, I should have considered all factors, such as where I like to put my desk, whether there's enough room to place a staircase to the loft space, and the overall layout if the door is in a certain position. 2. Some details about the framing. You might have noticed that the orientation of the studs on the front and back side of the house were non-standard. They were rotated 90 degrees compared to how it's usually done. I didn't realize this until a professional pointed out. The orientation is less ideal because the structure is weaker, so I reinforced it by adding more stud in the standard orientation. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the outcome. I'm a software engineer with no prior experience in construction, but I was able to get to this point, so I think you can too.
喜欢这个优质的创作者，就赶快去 follow 他哦！你有发现其他更具爆红潜力的影片吗？赶快投稿给达人秀吧！点击下方观看更多有趣内容。